first week, and in the first lecture, we just learned about the first elements of art, that it was lines. Then when we are talking about the lines, we know that we have a different shapes of the lines. It can be regular, irregular, curve, and actual and implied line. The second things we were talking about, when we are using of the lines, when we are just using of the lines in a perimeter of our item, it's going to be outlines, and when we are adding the more details inside of this, it's going to be contour line. So today we're going to talk about shape, and we are talking about the object and their proportions, and we are using of the lines to make the shapes. You know that the shapes is just a line. If you close your lines, you have a shape. The first important part of the lesson is proportion. And what is the proportion? If you're looking at the presentation that I posted for you on the first week, you see in the part of this, we have a proportion and how we are using of the technique of our thumb and a pen or pencil to measure our item. But before that, what is a proportion? Proportion is size. How our object is large, but not just the size, is a ratio. Then when we are talking about the proportion, we are comparing different part of, different side of, different dimension of an object together. We are looking of the width and height. Which one is larger? Okay, we can see it with our eyes, and we have to make it on our paper. The important is you're looking of the measure of these two glass. They are the same almost. If I want to draw this one, but I make it shorter in the height that it is, actually I draw this one. Then it's very important to have a good ratio. Again, this is one way that you're looking of an object from the distance. From the distance, you're putting the tip of the pen or pencil on the parallel with the top part, and your thumb's gonna show the bottom part of this. And then you change your pencil or pen directions and seeing that which one is larger. Okay, and we're gonna, when we want to draw it, when we see that the height is larger than the width, but it's not that large, we're gonna follow the same ratio. Sometimes it's very exact. You can go and look at this part. When we are looking of them, this is very obvious that the top part is more open or wider than the bottom part. Then this is, we are looking at of everything that we see. How we are making it is we are looking of the object's proportion, finding it, and then we decide how large we want to make our objects. After that, their object has to be completely vertical. They cannot lean on some part, and they have to be completely symmetrical. Object that we are using today, all of them are symmetrical. Then this is that they have to be proportional, they have to be vertical, and they have to be symmetrical. We're gonna focus on these three parts. When we are making our object, we are looking of the simplest shape. Then for make something realistic, you have to look very good and you'll have to look abstract. Then you have a construction shapes that it's look like what simple shape it's gonna be look like. Sometimes we have to analyze our shape to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shapes that they are simpler. And we're gonna Start with a wine bottle today. We are looking at the proportion and the shapes. Let's just adjust the... Okay, I don't know exactly what you see here, but I think we are good. Okay, and just give me a second until I make it a little smaller, then you can see everything's here. Okay, this is good. Okay, then when we want to start it, I'm gonna start from here because you can see it. First is we talk about the different medium. I post you in the presentation one YouTube that you can look at the different media in the drawing that we are using. This is the wine charcoal that I'm using today, and this is a bottle of the wine that we are working on this. Remember, I'm not gonna make any of the details, labels, none of them. The only things that we are looking, that we have a body here, we have a shoulder here, and we have a neck. Then this is the most important part of the object, and we are not gonna make any other ones. This is a symmetrical object, and when we stand it, it's completely vertical. Make it exactly as it is. When I compare, I can see that it's some kind of the you can look at the width and compare it with the height. If it's the body part, then for the body part, the width is half of the height, and we have a shoulder, and after that we have a neck that it's 2 times larger than the shoulder. So we're gonna start. I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna say that I want my object to start from here, and this is gonna be the top part of this. The first thing is a symmetrical lines. Make a symmetrical lines. You can use of a ruler if you want to make these lines. It has to be completely vertical here, and then we're gonna start to make our first part that it's some kind of the rectangular shape. I told you that if I want to make my you see that this one and this one is not exactly the same. I want this part and this part be exactly the same. We have a chamois. This chamois is working as your eraser, especially with the wine charcoal. It's very easy. You can just take your time. Don't think that it has to be very fast. Then take your time to make it completely symmetrical. Then when I'm comparing it, it's that wide, and I know that I have to go 2 times above these ones. Then I'm gonna make it this is the first shape. Then I had a rectangle, triangular shape for the shoulder. I make it triangular. I'm using of the symmetrical lines to make it completely symmetrical. And I know that I have to start from somewhere here and make a trapezoid of this one. But from here, when we are looking at this, we see that we had 2 times longer we had for the neck. Then this is gonna be neck, and This gonna be the neck part. In the neck part, we have for the color very small shape of the rectangular here. It's not always horizontal. Sometimes we have a little angle on this, but I'm trying to don't make it exactly with the angle that we have. Then I'm making it very simple shape of the small rectangular here. Then this is important that after we made it, we are looking of this and seeing, okay, is it the same that I have or no? Sometimes you might think, okay, it should get a little longer, okay? Make it longer, 2-3 times go with your proportion and see if it's correct or no. Then after you see that it's good one, just erase all the lines that was just for our measurement, and then adding the details. I make it more round shape here. It needs to be more round. Okay, and this one should get more. I'm starting from here to make it again more round shoulder here and coming. Okay, you see that I'm out of my lines, then I have to adjust it. Adjust it as much as you want. It doesn't have to be very fast or with the first try. Then always the bottom part of the round shapes, they are round. Then we are making this part a little of the round shape too. Then we are gonna add more details that we have, that I have more line here and I can see another line here between them, but I'm not making the labels. The part that I want you adding on this later is the reflection that you see. I have 2 reflection here. I have one here, and I can see some reflections in the bottom part of butter. Then it's gonna be the first drawing with the shapes. This is the shapes that we have. It's a proportional, it's vertical and symmetrical. You're gonna make 2 drawings, and both of them I don't want you're using of the very difficult shapes, simple shapes. Look it of the proportion and try to make it with your lines as much as you can. If you can add the implied line to it, okay, then do it. Then you're gonna make it more darker here, a little more less, and again I can coming and make it with the, this is the part that even I'm coming with some kind of the more reflections and more implied line in the shape. Then the best is that you're using not only actual lines, you're using of the